Hey, how's it going? Okay, so explanation for the hat. I'm not becoming one of these guys, although I do look like one of them. My hair has gotten so long that I need to cut it, but I haven't got a chance to yet, and it's getting in my eyes. Hey, Jay. Yes, I am alive. Good to see you. I took a little trip this week to Austin, Texas. I have returned to my loving public. One second. Okay. Okay. There's that. There's that. Okay, we are good. How is it going? Nice! Jaden! Oh, that rules, Jaden. Good for you. Ah. What did you do when you first finished it? Do a little dance? Yes. That rules. That rules. I'm so happy for you, Jaden. It's great. It's great. It's great to finish a project. Yes. That's awesome. Have you just? Are you gonna post it anywhere? You don't have to. It's not a requirement, but it you know, should brag about it at least. Make a video, make a little short talking about you finishing it on YouTube. You should do that. That's what you should do. Oh no, just talk about finishing it. That's all you have to do. Just people will be very excited for you. I can guarantee that. Yeah. What makes you say that? A ghost? Uh, I went to Austin this week. I'm thinking about maybe potentially moving there. Not totally decided yet, but looked around, thought about it. might be a ghost. Might be somebody who just picked it up, but it could also just be a ghost. So, who do you think this ghost is? What's their name? You should get a board, a Ouija board, and try and talk to it. Ah, Jeff. Spooky Jeffrey. The spookiest Jeffrey of them all. You should. You must. You don't have to, but you should. I joke about the name Jeff, but then I think, oh no, there's a lot of like really legitimately scary people named Jeff. That rules. That rules. I'm so happy, Jaden. Do you have any plans for issue 4? Oh, Jaden, I am so happy. I'm so happy to hear that. That rules. You know how much that rules, Jaden. The fact that you got something done, that you can look back and go like, yeah, I actually did something. That rules. That doesn't happen to me as often as I'd like. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, buddy. Ah. This is your black cat, right? Do. Nice. So what's the plan for tonight then? Oh man, my back is a little sore. It's called... My back is a little sore, Jaden. It is called driving for several hours yesterday and being a little tired. Don't know how long I'll do this for. We'll see. Do it. Do it. Zalila! Hello, Zalila. Hello. Like how I'm saying your name, I assume correctly. After I heard Funk say it. How's it going? I'm happy that you're watching. If you missed it last night, Essel or Funk re-premiered their stream, and despite one thank you, Funk, for tell me why re-premiered their stream with emotes done by Zalila here. And despite one minor flub, it was very successful. Not on Zalila's part. A computer failed Funk's whole thing. By the way, I'm not becoming a hat guy. The hat guy is necessary because I really need to cut my hair, but it is too long. But I don't have. I didn't do it today. Oh, that rules. I'm not. Well, sort of. I do like hats, but I'm not. This will not be part of my standard wear. Just which YouTuber was it? Oh, that's cool. Oh, that rules, Jay. Congratulations. You're a fifth of the way there for your goal. Yeah. What are you filming with? What are you filming with? Are you filming with just your phone? Yeah. So what I film with, if you want my advice, I film with one of these. Just an iPhone holder. They were like $10, $20 on YouTube. And you just put it in. See? Works pretty well. Not becoming a hat guy. Hat guy is not my title. I'm already a dude. I earned the title of dude. I forged it in the Stygian abyss. Hat Sean. He's a hat. Sean hiding in the hat. Sure. So what is yeah. So I went to Austin. I know that's not very interesting, but it's a little bit interesting. I live in Houston, so it's like, you drive to Austin. I went to a restaurant where you cook your own meat. Tell me, what would you do if you were a good animator? Wasn't that rule? Man, Jaden, though animation is hard. It can take months to do just like 3 minutes of animation. Do you know how much one episode of animation costs? Usually it can cost up to like $2 million. Spectacular Spider-Man was great. It was such a shame they canceled that. Totally screwed over by the Disney deal. Okay. I'm just saying, you as a lone animator could not make Spectacular Spider-Man. You could maybe make one every 3 months. 1 minute, 20-minute video, episode a year, maybe, by yourself. I dare you to. I'm 100% open to you trying. You should. You should. I don't think you could do it, Jaden. I don't think you can do it. I guess you're just gonna have to learn how to animate and pursue your dreams. But you're probably not gonna pull that off. Is this negative reinforcement working? I can do positive. We can switch back to positive. We can switch to positive. Well, you're just gonna have to prove me wrong, Jaden, and improve as a person and an artist. No, I do. I believe you could learn how to animate, and I believe you could animate a very effective effective animation in the style of Spectacular Spider-Man. I do believe that. You can do it, Jaden. You know, that was show ran by a guy, a very talented guy by the name of Greg Wiseman, who I've been talking about more than a few times. He created a show called Gargoyles, which was very good, and he was the showrunner of Young Justice. I can't. It's an older chair and it's rusty, and I probably need to put some oil on it. Well, you guys pay. You guys pay to get a new one then. They're like $200. I'm worth much more than that. No, you're $200. This is random person, random. What's their talent? They are good at standing in places, and their favorite food is Icelandic cod. Random would be a fun name for a character. This is just practice for a stream I'm going to do on Saturday. I don't know if you saw that video where I said I would draw people's OCs. Yeah, I think that's a name some people have. But is it like their human name? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll put that in the list. I gotta make an update video about that pretty soon. Gotta mess it. I do have to message all the people that contacted me about that to get the official OC that they want me to draw. Not a lot of responses on YouTube or TikTok, but I did get a lot of responses on Instagram, so. Yes, I saw it. So it's gonna be kind of, it's gonna be done through like a randomizer. I'm not. I don't know which one I'll do first. It'll just be picked at. It'll just be picked. Words. It shall be picked arbitrarily. So I can put you on the list, and we'll just pick it at random. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what I want to do. You guessed it correctly. Okay. Tell me what you realized. Uh, 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 oh, that's an issue. I can help you with that if you want. That means you probably haven't written. Have you, Robin? Robin. That means you probably haven't written any down. You haven't written enough downtime for the characters. Nice. How's it going, Robin? Well, it was good for you to realize that. That's good. That's good. Did you finish that puzzle last night, Robin? Sorry, I kind of checked out early there. I was very tired. I had just gotten back home from a long car trip. I had just gotten back home from Austin. S'mores. Hello, 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 S'mores. How is it going? How is it going on this lovely day for you? Good, good to hear. What you got going today? Well, that rules. Yeah, sometimes characters just kind of, even though you can't, you just know that they have something to them. What, Delilah, what's your name on Twitch again? I might ask away. Ooh, tell me about them s'mores. What are these new characters? Okay. Was that too much of an ask? Delilah, I'm sorry if that was too much of an ask. Um, you could, why don't you team them up? Make a superhero team for them. DC did that with a few characters like the Justice Society of America, who were not necessarily strong enough to have their own books, but were popular enough that you could put them together into a team up comic, and that did okay. Okay, tell me about them. S'mores? What about them are normal? Okay. I feel that's probably realistic for a lot of characters. So, Robin, what you doing today? How is work? How is I was just go get some eat. Well, I think you just gotta get more notebooks then, Jaden. It sounds like what you gotta do. Food. So what are we working on today, Delilah? Sounds like sorry, words. Sound. Oh no, I asked what your Twitch name was. Your Twitch name was. You don't have to give it if you don't want to, but I was just saying because I believe you and Robin met yesterday. So, only reason I'm asking. So, Delilah over here is the one who designed Funk's newest emotes. Yeah. You don't have to give your name if you don't want to, but I believe you met Robin last night. That's the only reason I'm asking. Yes, Delilah is a very talented artist. And if you're ever looking for emotes, you can contact. Yes. You should contact Delilah. You're an affiliate, right, Robin? You feel the sweet, searing approval of Daddy Bezos's love. Jeff Bezos is such a nice guy. Surely there's nothing weird. He's doing nothing bad. So, anyways, well, if you have some extra money, Delilah here could be the person you need. Let's see. Let me find a. See, Delilah, I'm getting you so many jobs. Let me find you. Example of what they did. That's their emote. Doesn't that look good? Doesn't that look great? They're Maxine on my Discord server, so. Yes, under Maxine. Yes, I should probably make a list of that. I need to start doing some administrative work on that tomorrow, really. Sure. One character. Oh, yes, yes, you should. The stream on Saturday. Yes, sorry. Yes, one character. Yeah, go ahead. Submit. Yeah, I want to see them. Show them to me. I'll link their channel. One second. Go ahead. This is Lila's channel if you want to follow it. So Zalila, how's learning? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead. So Zalila, how's learning Spanish going? Hey, Mom. How's it going? Good. I did. Yes. Now I'm streaming. Yes, I am. Are you struggling with the... Yeah. What? So you're not fluent yet? So are you like learning on your own, like through Duolingo, or like are you taking a legit actual class? I remember I tried to learn Japanese once by taking a class, and I forgot how bad I am in classes. That was a humiliating experience. I never went back after that. Oh, nice. Are you finding your Spanish improved? Yeah, that makes sense. Is it like are you just doing private tutoring, or are you part of a whole class? I've always wanted to learn another language, so I'm a tiny bit. I'm gauging you for possible uh, uh, ways forward for myself. Ah. So if you were, so if you were in a Spanish-speaking country, you know, you've like, could you reasonably ask for directions? Hmm. Yes, yes, Jaden. By the way, feel free to submit them. Sorry, I got in my head. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, yeah, Jaden. They look neat. Can I ask, like, what? Very. Hey, Callie. Is this Callie again? How's it going, Callie? This is Callie, everybody. Doing the thing they do where every few months they start a new account. So this is Lila. Can I ask what brought this interest on, or was it just like intellectual curiosity, or like how's it going? How's it going, Cal? What inspired the change this time? Thank you for the follow. Yeah. Ah. No, can't do it. Let's do it all to a joke. Very classified. Well, they look good, Jaden. You're always involved with shady people. Yeah, see? Yeah. Well, they look good. Eh. Eh. They came out when I was a kid. I remember being very bored by the constant scenes and the constant scenes of them chatting and staring outside of the windows mostly. So that's my opinion. Yeah, that was fine. I found them very hard to follow, I must admit. And I do not rewatching them. I find that their effects have not aged all that well. There's a very good animated series that came out of that called The Clone Wars. Not the one you're thinking of. That one's okay, but do it, Callie. Callie, you're not trying to hack into government programs, are you? That one's okay. But there was who is it? Gendy Tartakovsky animated one that was really cool. There's even an older one, Jaden. There's an even older one that people don't remember. That people do not remember. That was with Gendy. That was animated by Gendy Tartakovsky. Who is a name probably you don't know. That's the guy who did Samurai Jack. Animated by the guy who did Samurai Jack. The CGI one gets good. Gets quite good later on, but oh boy, were those opening scenes rough. Yes, almost as old as me. I mean, yeah, theoretically. Okay. Okay, sure. Sure, okay. I don't really think so. I think they look quite bad, but okay. Go play some. They look almost as good as the Star Cruise from Star Wars Land. Oh, yes, I agree with you. It does not hold up at all. It looks quite. Um. Yeah. Yeah. It does not hold up as well. All, but the problem is, it's almost totally CGI. So it's like. Since the CGI doesn't hold up at all of it doesn't hold up. Yeah. I believe Robin when Robin says that it gets better by season 5. That is, in my opinion, a pretty brutal wait for it to get better. So I don't know. Pretty brutal wait. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, it's a pretty brutal wait for. Robin says that by season 5 it gets really good, and I have no reason to doubt that. But it's a pretty brutal wait. It's pretty brutal to like binge through the entire series and then get to season 5. Like that's 5 seasons of television you have to get through before it gets better. Got my opinion on Arrow a little bit. With TV, you have to be a little bit more forgiving and let them figure out what they're doing exactly. Boop. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 1 second. Close the door. You have to be a little bit forgiving with TV. Because it's like it does take them a minute to figure out exactly what they're trying to do. But I don't know. Life's short. I know that David Fellini is like kind of an important dude in the Star Wars universe now, and people say he's doing a really good job, and I don't disbelieve him. Disbelieve, and so maybe I'll go back, but it's life is so short. I don't know. I've never liked the CGI animation style that they did. I always thought it looked bad, and they still keep up with it, and I still think it looks bad. Yeah. Yeah. Those are some of my favorite movies ever. The original Star Wars are some of my favorite movies ever. I love those movies quite a lot. I rewatched them obsessively as a kid. Like in some ways, like I've said this before, like I didn't even really perceive them as movies. I just perceived them as like things, like just like they were beyond movie. Yeah. Beyond movies. They were like just anyways. What, you mean an old... Yeah, I mean, you mean two old men fighting didn't somehow look that realistic to you? What, an old guy who can barely walk? Alex Guinness? Yeah. It's not a fight. Like, the Obi-Wan versus... So... But that's not a fight. That's not a fight. That's Obi-Wan intentionally giving up because he's like, I don't need people. I don't need to worry about it, you know? Yeah, he's just letting himself die. It's a samurai thing, you know. You got to remember they're kind of space samurais. It's complicated. A thing I would, yeah, it's not like they're supposed to be like, you know, grizzled battle veterans. Like Obi-Wan is ancient at that point. Jaden, if you want my opinion, I feel the exact same way about Han Solo's death. And yeah, Hayden Christensen. He plays Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. I don't think he's a particular. Yeah. I don't think he's a particular. Yeah. So Ewan McGregor plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Hayden Christensen plays Anakin. Just if you're a little confused by the two actors. Ewan McGregor is a very good actor. Some great performances from Ewan, including Obi-Wan. He did a good job with Obi-Wan. I believe they're talking about Hayden Christensen as not being that great of an actor, which he's been in some good stuff. I was about to say, you know, if you've ever seen, you haven't seen this one. Yeah. Yeah. I never saw the Obi-Wan show, so I don't know anything about it. I know there was some weirdness, as there's always weirdness now with modern Star Wars that was irritating. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't have Disney. The problem is I don't have Disney Plus anymore because I just wasn't watching anything on it, and so I was like, why am I keeping this if I'm not watching anything on it? So, and now there's some interesting stuff on there, but it's just like, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm not really covering stuff from Disney at the moment, but yeah, I might get it. I don't know, Jaden. It's money issue right now. It's a money issue right now. Maybe I'll get it when those shows come out. I know there's a bundle that they're going to do at some point, which it's you know, it's irritating that we ended up right back at cable, but maybe I'll get that. maybe I'll just pirate it. No, I wouldn't pirate it, because I don't know how. But oh no, I think Daisy Ridley's an okay actor. Okay, so Jane, here's the thing with Hayden Christensen. If I could, here's the thing with Hayden Christensen. He's good. He's good at playing whining and sniveling. Which is his best role is in a movie called Shattered Glass. He's really good in that one, where he plays and he's really good at being like a whining, sniveling, like loser, whose default emotion is like, "Stop being mean to me! You can't be mean to me!" And I feel bad for Daisy Ridley. I don't know. I feel bad for her. I feel she was screwed over by a kind of I don't know. The sequel trilogy just makes me mad. Because there's a lot of really good ideas there, and then it's like a bunch of why they, I don't know why they needed to do some of the things that they did. Yeah. Well, Jaden, I have seen a lot of Hayden Christensen movies in my lifetime, so I do have some opinions on this. And I do like Shattered Glass a lot. That's a really good movie. Okay. But I'm entitled to my opinions too, Jaden. I'm entitled to my opinions too, so I could... And this is my channel, so I'm going to say what I want to say. So the thing about Hayden Christensen, I find, is he's good at being like whining and sniffling. Like he's kind of got that down, and he's sort of an, I don't know. It's a problem. I don't know. Here's the thing: George Lucas is not a great writer, and actors sometimes struggle with bad writers. Sometimes actors really struggle to give good performances when there's bad writing. I don't think you're stupid, Jaden. And it's like, see the Flash versus for that as actors struggling to give decent performances with bad. decent act well with not particularly great writing. So, i.e. also a little bit Daisy Ridley, and I don't know. Is Daisy Ridley a good actress? I kind of... I hope she is. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you have to... Oh, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yes, okay. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. But Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are like two of the best actors two of the best actors around. So especially the two of the best two of the best actors right now who have been nominated. Emma Stone has won 2 Oscars, and Andrew Garfield has been nominated. What I'm saying is, Jaden, they're better actors. That's what I'm saying. They're better actors, so of course they were able to do better with bad writing. Well, Jaden, you have to usually let somebody finish their thought first. And 2, yeah. Anyways. That's very clearly what I was saying. Anyways. That's very clearly the point I was going to say. Anyways, yeah, so, yeah, of course, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 has better acting, so... I don't know. I still think Daisy Ridley has a chance of proving herself as an actress, but I don't know. It sucks that she kind of got... People put too much, like... I don't know. Star Wars has a very toxic fan base, in my opinion. Maybe the most toxic. No, yeah. Pretty toxic. One of the most toxic. And people will put a lot on actors in Star Wars to do things. We'll put on a lot about actors in Star Wars. And it sucks and it's unfair. Yes. I agree with you undoubtedly. Oh, well, the originals are some of the best movies of all time. And the prequel... I don't know, man. I remember as a kid how bored I was with the prequels. I loved Star Wars, Jaden, as a kid. You don't know how much I loved Star Wars as a kid. I was absolutely obsessed with it. I rewatched those movies. When they came out on DVD, I rewatched them all the time. I think I've seen those movies like 100 times. And the good cut too, Jaden. The good cut. This is a thing that it might be hard to believe. The cut that exists right now is a really bad. Is not the best cut of the. It's not the original theatrical cut. They put out. Yeah. Well, because they were like, yeah. It's like, yeah, well, because they did amazing things. You know, because most of the, like, not to get into a very boring filmy debate, but most of those were, like, movies. Like, most of those were, like, sets that they built and then had pretty practical effects working for most of them. So it holds up a lot because, like, they were doing cool stuff like that. Whereas, like, the problem with CGI is it dates very quickly. Like, it dates, like, obscenely quickly. Like, I'm going to inform you, what looks good now will look like garbage in a few years to you. You will be shocked how bad movies look in a few years that you thought looked good. Whereas, like, the more practical stuff like that Star Wars did holds up pretty well because it's, like, actual filming locations and it looks really nice. And the sequels do some of that. I don't hate the sequels, by the way. If that gives you if I've given you an opinion of that, I don't really hate the sequels. I don't mind the characters that they made, really. I do hate things that they did in the sequels, and yeah. Oh, that's so clever. I don't even really, like, there's some good stuff about the prequels, too. So, like, I would never totally dismiss the prequels. But, yeah, I don't know. I did not know that. That's a fun little factoid. My big bugbear, if I could, with Star Wars, is that the original theatrical cut has been suppressed for stupid reasons. For a very inferior cut that they promote now. It's a bugbear of mine for like a. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's it. You think about the originals. That's the problem. Like with a lot of this stuff is like still no matter what you do, you in the end you're like, oh well, but the originals did this, and you go back to the originals, and it's like, you know, we still like we really haven't. I don't know. I've made this thing before, but part of the reason that Star Wars is so good initially is that George Lucas is a weirdo and is a particular weirdo who has a lot of obsessions with things. Has a lot of obsessions, and he put those all into his movies. And when people do new Star Wars stuff, all they do is just reference Star Wars. Yeah. Oh, that was such a good movie. The Last Jedi. Yes, I agree. Because if you want to get into it, it's like, okay. So Star Wars is kind of a pseudo there's a few movies that Star Wars borrows a lot from. So there's this old samurai movie called The Hidden Fortress, which is about which pretty much has the exact same setup as Star Wars. And then there's there's a movie called Dam Buster, which is pretty much where Lucas got his the original run in the Death Star. He pretty much steals a lot from that for the original run in the Death Star. then there's like, you can cut that movie in half and see like thousands of different like film and history things that Lucas was fascinated by, and he put that all in the movie. And that's what makes like the original Star Wars feel so like alive, is because like Lucas had all these influences, had all the stuff he was just interested in, and that all just sort of ended up in his movie. And it feels classical now, and it's like, my problem really is like, when people try and make Star Wars now, they just make Star Wars. Like, if you want to make like a Star Wars, and this is really for anything, if you have influences and you want to make stuff that you want to make stuff. Yes, that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Influence stuff is like instead of like just copying what your guy copied, like go back to their influences and see why they did the stuff that they did. Anyways, so like watch Akira Kurosawa movies, watch a ton of stuff. I mean, the original trilogy is so great. Yeah. I don't know. David Fellini seems like the guy who really is into that. So I don't, I hate. I don't know. I don't want like. Anyways, I have mixed feelings about Disney running Star Wars, but I remember when the original creators were running Star Wars, and nothing quite worked as well. So it's not like. It's not like everything was perfect before. Like, and truthfully, I'd rather have like Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, but I'd rather if people would just do Star Wars inspired things and try and make their own universe. I wouldn't hate it. Then again, somebody is trying to do a Star Wars inspired thing, and I kind of hate it. So maybe I should just shut up. I don't know. I never saw those movies. Yes. Um. Time, Jaden, is the real answer. It's kind of how all characters, people end up. Um. Okay, so somewhat controversial opinion. Last Jedi is probably my favorite of the sequel trilogy. I think it's a lot better. I don't mind like Luke becoming a cynical. I don't know. I think what feels so infuriating about the sequel trilogy is, that it kind of undoes. Okay, so here's my big problem with the sequel trilogy. Not to get off on a rant here. The First Order sucks as a villain, and makes no sense. That's what I. That's it. I have no idea. Like, okay, so the First Order seemingly has no ideas, no placements. They are only there to be a generically evil force, and then at the end of the series, they get replaced by the Emperor. So okay, so the problem with like Luke dying, if I could, the problem with Luke dying is that nobody seems to agree on what the First Order is, what it's doing, and what its power level is. Like, we don't. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that happened. I hate that it meant nothing, and it meant nothing. Frankly, if I could, the sequel trilogy should have really had nothing to do with like the events of the original trilogy. I think it should have just been the start of a new. Yeah. I agree with you. If I could, your sequel trilogy should have had nothing. This is backseat thing, but backseat filmmaking. But I said this before the films came out because I said this would be an issue, and I was correct. So it's just I wasn't doing online stuff. I was just complaining about. No, I was. I was just complaining about. Anyways, so here's my contention. All of the sequel trilogy's problems go back to the First Order makes no sense as villains. Hey Howard, I'm complaining about Star Wars. Sorry. How's it going? Yeah. Well, the problem is, Jaden, they lacked a coherent story. It felt like writers were kept fighting with each other. Like nobody had decided on anything before they started the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Well, okay, so the thing with Kylo is, like, he was clearly supposed, he That's awesome. Going outside? Yeah. So, okay, so the problem with this is, like, okay. What is okay, can I even ask you a very basic question? How much, because nobody agreed on anything. One of the advantages that the Marvel's movies has is that Kevin Feige and a couple of guys are kind of in charge of the story, and they know where everything is going, pretty much. And I know people complain about that, and there is some problems with that, but you can see the advantage when for that thing with the sequel trilogy, because with the sequel trilogy it felt like nothing was being planned, and everything went wrong. Okay, so. Here's a very basic question. How powerful is the New Order? Because in the original, in what is it? The Force Awakens, they're established as like the final like offshoot, like a terrorist group of the Empire who controls just a small portion of the galaxy. But in The Last Jedi, they're established like now, and but now in like The Last Jedi, they're established as in charge of the whole galaxy. And once again, we're at a resistance level thing. So, what is their power level? What power do they have? Who are they? We have no sense of what threat they are. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. And let me get something clear before everything. I love Rian Johnson as a director. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like we have no idea who the New Order. Like my problem is like the New Order has no established power. They're just evil force, and the Empire was just evil force. But they were a conquering villain who took over a republic and made it into like we understood what the Empire was, what they were doing, and why, and what the problem was. Like the New Order could be anything and everything, and at some point it switched. Yeah, or First Order. Sorry. Well, that's fine. That's good. I'm happy that they do that. Don't forgive them. In the movies, they're garbage villains. They're garbage villains who make no sense. So, and it doesn't help that nobody agreed on anything and they refused to plan everything out ahead of time. And by the way, if I could. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's all they were doing. That's half of the problem is that they were trying to do that. That they were always, like, going like, oh, well, the fans didn't like that, so we should, like, fix this. And, yeah, so, like, I love Rian Johnson. I think The Last Jedi is a good Star Wars movie in the middle of a different sequel series, probably. Like if we could do like, if we could have done what he was thinking, maybe that would have been a better movie. But we were stuck. Sorry. Yeah. So. Yeah, exactly. Because let's get this clear: the original Star Wars movies are about Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the main protagonist of the original Star Wars movies. Darth Vader is the one who grows as a character. Darth Vader is the one who eventually redeems himself at the end of the series. Luke is a good protagonist, but the main character is Darth Vader. In the end, yes. I know that's confusing. Darth Vader is the main character. It's about Darth Vader is the main character. It's about his character growth. Luke is the protagonist. Yeah. I know that's a little confusing, but that's what it is. It's like, okay, Sherlock Holmes. To use an example of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock is the main character. Watson is the protagonist. We see through the eyes of Watson, but Sherlock is the main character. In the original Star Wars trilogy, Luke is the protagonist. Darth Vader is the main character. The series is ultimately about him and his development. Yeah. It's a weird thing to think about, but that's the answer. So, if the Star Wars movie... So, ultimately, Robin, why it's a little... Here's the thing. That theoretically should make Kylo Ren the main character of the sequel trilogy, and in some ways, I think they were trying to set him up like that. But the problem with Kylo Ren is he kind of comes off as like a whiny... I don't know. I really like Adam Driver. Adam Driver is such a good actor. Adam Driver is such a good actor, guys. Like I need to make that very clear before I go any further. Adam Driver is a really good actor, and I really like him as an actor. He's been in a lot of good movies, but I'm not. He's the problem with the problem with Kylo Ren is he comes off like an obnoxious rich kid who, yeah. Yes, absolutely great cast. Not as well used as they should have been at times, but absolutely fantastic cast. I really have to go to the bathroom. I will be back in a minute, okay? Okay, back. Yes, the entire. Yes, it was cast very well. There's very good actors. Kylo Ren, if I could, is a pretty okay character. The problem is, yeah, that's the problem. I agree with you. That's the problem. I don't know. Despite the crap, a little bit the prequel, the justified crap that the prequel trilogy gets in a lot of ways, I think at least the storyline with Kylo is Anakin is good, in that he was a poor kid. He has a more sympathetic backstory. Kylo Ren is a rich, is a privileged kid from a privileged background, who is like, um, you know, oh, it's like, I can't live up to my famous past. I'm so, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to feel for that. I don't know. He's a nepo baby. That's it. He's a nepo baby. See, Robin, this is the danger of listening to fans. This is the danger of listening too much to the fan base, because the fan base was really into that idea. I don't. Yeah, I agree. I think so too. I think the prequels. Okay, I'll throw this out there. The prequels has a good story that's marred by poor direction. The prequels have a very good story that is very marred by poor direction. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the problem. Well, I don't know. I hate what happened to Han, Robin. I hate what happened to Han so much in that movie. That's such a miserable end for that character. I don't necessarily need my characters have to like the best. Like, it's okay if characters, but why was that such a miserable end? Also, just cast Sebastian Stan as a young Luke already. Come on, Disney. Yeah. Yeah, he's not. Problem. Yeah, Adam Driver is such a good actor, but yeah, he's. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, it's. Yeah. There's some. Like, Grievous is a great villain. Yeah, there's some good stuff. I hate when the night app thing goes off one after another, especially for some stuff I'm not doing anymore. Also, Lucas will admit this himself. He's not that great of a writer. I should point out that people like Lee Brackett wrote Rise of the Empire, and Lee Brackett is one of the great I believe Lee Brackett is the first woman to win a sci-fi, to win the Hugo Award. It's either her or there's one other. I think they were nominated the same year, so it kind of makes it a little difficult. I reviewed one of her books. Anyways, but there's some legitimately great writers who worked on Star Wars. That, yes, I loved. Yeah, and the point is, like, yes, I know. Yes, they're cowards. They're cowards in that regard. So, I don't know. It's the sequel trilogy had all the good, started off so well and then made all the same mistakes as the prequel trilogy almost did. I would argue. Made a lot of the same mistakes. Well, okay. Well, no, Robin, they will. They will, just not in movies. Just not in movies that are distributed to foreign audiences, where Disney where they would cut that, where that could hurt Disney's box office. They do have openly gay characters in the comics. Dr. Aparta. I've never said that name out loud before. But yeah. Well, I would argue with Finn. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with the writing of that character. Yes, Revenge of the Sith is pretty fun. Is a pretty decent one because it finally starts to feel like a Star Wars movie again. I would argue. Here's the thing with like Star Wars. Yeah, because it's like Lucas had to get through all the backstory he had built up, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I guess we can do a villain now. We can do like actual movies now." Hey, all we got to do is, if Topher Grace would release his copy, his edition. Yeah, I agree. Or, like, 2 movies. Theoretically, 2 movies, it would be a lot better. Not everything needs to be a trilogy. People might... I suspect the audience might be too young to remember when Topher, a.k.a. Eric from that 70s show, quite famously did a re-edit of the prequel trilogy into one movie, and then had a bunch of his Hollywood friends over, and they all said it was really good. That was a famous event, and a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, his copy, his re-edit was actually really good, and that should have just been the movie," and that became part of Hollywood lore. And then, of course, he never released it. He never got permission to release his re-edit. Yeah. Well, it had enough. Yeah, I mean, they needed. Yeah. Exactly. Well, okay, so the problem is, okay, here's the problem a little bit. Lucas has skills and Lucas doesn't have skills. And Lucas also is not as skilled, is out of practice in certain things that he used to be pretty decent at. Despite the reputation, George Lucas is not a bad director. Despite what some nerds will say, George Lucas has directed good movies in the past, has directed some very good movies in the past that aren't Star Wars. 2, George Lucas has never been a good writer, and he never really wrote his own. He always had other writers helping him. 3, when George Lucas, but he produced and wrote those. Steven Spielberg directed them. 3, one of the things that you have to remember is that Lucas only directed the first Star Wars movie. He left the direction up to. He didn't direct the next 2 of the original trilogy. Although he was heavily involved as producer. And he didn't really direct after the first Star Wars movie. Partly because of marriage and, his marriage falling apart and him essentially having to be a single father after that. And so, okay, part of the whole story with Star Wars is that George Lucas's marriage falls apart while he's filming the first one. And in some way, you'll hear some people, and they're kind of right, that his ex-wife was very important in saving the original cut of Star Wars, in that she was that the original edit was a disaster, and his ex-wife was super important in saving it. I know it's because Harrison Ford didn't want to keep doing it. I don't mind that Harrison Ford didn't want to keep doing it. That's been a thing since he filmed that he was sick of that role. I don't mind that. Anyway, so it's complicated. Anyways, but after that, the marriage kind of falls apart, and he kind of ends up a single father. So, and also Star Wars makes him so rich that he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah, I agree. They could have gone. It's such just a lame death. I don't know. Part of the problem is, okay, they make this mistake, by the way, in the anyways, extended universe. I don't want to talk about the extended universe because there's so much garbage there, and I didn't read enough of it to truly know. Yeah. Well, part of the problem is they give him such a depressing after. It's so depressing, his whole story after the series ends. His marriage falls apart. His son. Hey, Tula. I don't know. I hate what they did. They didn't kill Chewbacca. They should have. I don't know. That was such a stupid twist. How's it going, Tula? How's it going? Well, Harrison Ford is so iconic that he doesn't really have to worry about that. Yeah. Just chilling. It's a little bit more complicated. It's tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you an artist? Well, Harrison Ford is one of the most iconic actors alive. No, but he's not dead. They didn't kill him. Well, I don't know if they didn't kill him in the movies. They kind of chickened out on that, really. I hate that scene in Rise of the Skywalker where it's he's dead. No, he's not. And then it's our C-3PO. Well, we're gonna have to erase all your memories. No, we're not. So, Tula, tell us a little bit about yourself. Sorry, we fell into a discussion of Star Wars, which happens. Yeah. Yeah, it's just dumb. No, Lando Calrissian is there. I agree. That's awesome. Well, that's cool. I have a cousin who does metal work. What type of metal? Do you ever do like metal do you ever do metal like sculpting and stuff? Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, so to tie this all back to the original point, um, because the First Order feels so ill-defined, Luke sacrificing himself feels pointless. Like, what if the oh, cool. What type of stuff do you do? Oh, that sucks, Callie. That sucks. Okay, so like because like so here's the thing. Here's my point that I was gonna make. Because if the First Order is just some like random like small time like you know like the First Order is initially established as like the last remnants of the Empire still trying to cling on to what little territory it has. And if that's true, why the heck is Luke sacrificing himself to like defeat these small? Yes, yeah. Oh, tell us a little bit about the sculpting. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't feel that big of a deal if like the First Order was established as this like unstoppable force like decimating planets. Then that would feel real. Then that would feel real and like and earned. Like, but for like these losers in the first like I'm gonna be honest, Luke dying for these like these losers of a villain feels so pointless. I'm fine with I'm fine with killing Luke off. But Luke deserves to get a big epic like heroic sacrifice if we kill him off, you know? Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, he deserves to die with like I don't want him to die as like this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well that makes sense, but most people are going to read those. Like it yeah, so it's like so yeah, but like and I'm normally a guy, but it's like Star Wars were movies first before they were anything, and I don't feel it's fair to punish the fans of the original medium. That's so cool. Medium for like just watching it in its original form. Like, okay, yeah. Like, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll throw out there that I learned from the Jenny Robinson video about the Star. There's a whole plot point that only makes sense in the movies if you ponied up $6,000 to stay at the hotel at the Star Wars hotel. Like where Rey gets the Holocrux from only makes sense if you stayed at that 2-night $6,000 hotel. That's Bullshit. Sorry. That's super cool. I love. That sounds like such a cool job, though, Atula. I have to admit, that sounds like such a cool job. I got a bunch of antique lamps around here. My mom collects them. Yeah. 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 But it's like... Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, I also don't really consider it fair. Like, okay, here's my point. Star Wars are movies. Star Wars started as movies, and they, all this other stuff came later. And I don't consider, I don't consider, any extra stuff you put in different mediums. If it's not in the movie, if it doesn't make a good movie, then it's not a good movie. And it's not fair to, assume that people are going to go out and read a ton of extra stuff to make sense of a movie. You know what I mean? The thing has to be good on its own for me to like it. And the fact that they'll do stupid stuff like save a plot point for a theatrical experience that you have to pay that only people who could afford $6,000 to stay in a 2-day hotel in Los Angeles. Because I saw the original movies, Robin. Because I was a fan of the original movies who managed to tell a complete, full story in one. Here's the thing. If they only ever made one Star Wars movie, it would have told a perfectly good story. You could theoretically get rid of everything but New Hope, and it would have told a complete and full story. The original Star Wars film, the very first film, tells a good story. Yeah. I mean, if you know the history, Star Wars is kind of the movie where they figure all that out. I don't know. But you asked why I liked it. I can't determine why you like something. That's up to you. Yeah, but the thing is, Star Wars, I like that they made all the other stuff. Okay, well, I'm happy you like other stuff, but you asked why I like it, and I like the original movies. You asked a question about my personal taste. This isn't a question about your taste. Yeah. Well, Fox did the famously stupid thing of giving George Lucas merchandising rights to Star Wars. And that made him a billionaire several times over. It's the famously stupidest... I disagree, Robin! I disagree with you! I don't think you're right about that! I think it's a good movie on its own! You can dislike it, sure. I don't think so. Robin, what the fuck are you asking me? Come on. The point I'm trying to make is that the first movie on its own would have, at least in my opinion, would have been a classic film. Would have been a classic sci-fi film. I'm happy they made the other ones, but on its own, it would have been a classic sci-fi film, well remembered. At least in my opinion. But I'm also very used to watching older movies with slower paces. No, I'm not disagreeing in the sense that I think Robin is justified for disliking a movie. But also I have a personal opinion that's different. Like, it's not my job. You are your own person. You decide what you like and what you dislike about a movie. But if you're asking me on my thoughts on something, I will get, if you're asking, I like it. Yeah. Okay. Then what are we talking about? That's fine. Sure, cool. Plays very little perspective into my thoughts on it. But here's the thing, though. Okay, here's the thing. If you make a movie and then you tell me, oh, well, it's good if you... I'm not doing fucking homework to watch a movie. I'm not doing homework to watch a movie. The thing has to be good on its own. It's like, I'm not going to read... Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that. Robin's allowed to think other things. So, the sequel trilogy gets nothing for me, by the way. Gets absolutely nothing that it maybe sort of justifies it in later shows. Doesn't get anything. It's a movie. If it's a good movie, it should be good on its own. No, I don't. Well, I've read a good deal of them. I don't really think that, but okay. Oh, fuck off. Oh, how many of these? Yeah. No, they're bots. One second. Let me just get rid of them. Yeah, ooh, cheap views. Yeah. Robin, I say this in the kindest way possible. I think... I don't really agree with that take. But if you feel that the comics and the TV shows justify the other movies, then why the hell are they making movies? And they should not make them anymore. They're bad movies then. Yeah, exactly. It's like, to throw it out there, it's true in reverse, by the way. If, a game... Yes, that's what I'm saying too. But I also don't think I don't think the movies are bad. I don't think the movies are bad on that level. I mean, there are a lot. I think it's just I don't. Then why are you like fighting me on if I'm a Star Wars fan? Ugh. I'm sorry. People fight me on this all the time for some reason that I'm not a real Star Wars fan. It's very annoying. I've been here. I've been here before. I was here before a lot of other people were here. Damn it. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Bad movies. That's fine. Bad movies. They're a movie franchise. They should be good movies. It's not fair. They should be good movies. It doesn't... Yep. I wasn't contradicting myself. I never contradicted myself. I don't know what impression you have of me. I like the movies. I like the original trilogy. I really like the original trilogy. I think the original trilogy is a great series of movies. Probably one of the maybe the best trilogy in film history. So why do I say that? It's because they pulled it off. Why do I say they need to do that? It's because because in this series they pulled that off flawlessly once before. So I get it. I get that the extended universe is good. Trust me, I really get that. But no, Jaden, I would argue it's in fact the opposite. I think they listen to criticism way too much. But my point is, I absolutely refuse to give Star Wars any credit for having good extra lore. If they're expecting me, if they're no, they listen way too much. In fact, I would argue that that's part of the problem is that they listen way too much at times, and they just kind of do whatever. They kind of listen. The rate, like. Yeah, they kind of sway in the wind of whatever the fan base wants. And you should do that to an extent, but... by the way, I never took the position. I've never once in my life taken the position that... I'm going to be honest, Robin, if I can. I don't... Yeah. Yeah. Well, you directly said to me, Robin, you directly said to me, why do you like this then? Why are you a Star Wars fan then? But you asked me that question. You said, like, why are you a Star Wars fan then? So you say directly, then why do you like Star Wars? Sorry if I came up. I get a little over defensive at times because I get about a bunch of young people, get a bunch of people in this thing screaming at me that I don't like Star Wars in the right way, and I'm gonna be honest, it really irritates me to no end that I get these criticisms because I feel like I've been around much longer, and I really don't like being lectured to why I like things. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jaden. That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is why. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that got mis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Apparently, we were playing a game of telephone there. Yeah. I wasn't like the implied I wasn't even saying like they shouldn't have made sequels. I'm just saying like if we take this as a theoretical world where they never made a sequel, it was a good movie. It A New Hope would have been a perfectly good movie by itself. Like it the se- like The Empire Strikes Back is a better movie, by the way, than A New Hope. But what I'm saying is, like on its own, A New Hope was a good movie, and you could safely say that was a classic film, and that would have been very influential. Yeah. Okay. I mean, but, okay, but we were okay. Fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But we were talking about the originals, Robin. We were talking about the originals. That was the subject of conversation. Like, by the way, it's okay if people don't like the originals. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Like, people think I'm being very defensive about that, but I'm not. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that there was apparently a game of telephone happening. Once again, Star Wars has... Oh, fuck! Once again, Star Wars has caused problems. Sorry, Robin. Sorry. Sorry. It's Han Solo. And then it's Admiral Thrawn. But Robin, there. I don't know. And Luke and Mara Jade, not exactly in that order. Rey is probably on there somewhere. I like Rey enough. I wasn't like... Robin, you can see how very easily those words can be taken out of context. Right? Like, you can see how pretty easily those words can be taken out of context. Because we were talking about the original trilogy and not any other thing. At that very moment. Yeah. It is very hard. So we're talking exclusive... Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. I mean, what... Because okay, here, Robin, here's this experience I've had before. Here, you want to hear what my experience is? I will talk about Star Wars, and then people will go like, well, you're not a real fan, you just don't get it. I'm like, but I've been a fan since I've been like 5. Well, it's like, yeah. Well, yeah. Also blame very obnoxious conversations I've had where I've had to defend myself liking things. Where it's like I can be both critical and like things at the same time, and people scream at me for that. Where it's like, you're not a real fan, you just don't get it. You just don't get it. You just don't get it. And it's like, no, I am a fan. I get it. I get it. It's like, well, you're not a real fan. You just don't get things. You just... Well, that's kind of what it sounds... I will be honest with you guys about something here. Sometimes when I do these, every single comment feels like everybody's yelling at me. Nonstop. Every single comment feels like people are yelling at me. And it's a little hard to... Yeah. Yeah.
at all times, and sometimes, especially when there's a lot of comments coming in, it's a little hard to read what everybody's saying. But yeah, and maybe I do get a little defensive over the original movies. I have to admit, maybe I do get a little defensive over the original movies. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be like a like an overtly defensive, like, no, you can't like it if you don't like the originals. Yeah, yeah. I do get a little bit over defensive, partly because like, okay, so here's the deal. Um, I went to film school. I'm very defensive of like filmmaking as a thing. Um, like I get very defensive for older movies because what I run into a lot is like I'll run into people who are very like I don't like to watch older movies, and like I love older movies. Like I watch classic I've watched a lot of classic cinema in my life, and I've had some really great experience watching classic cinema, and I get very frustrated really when like I don't people don't give older movies a chance. You know, do you know what I mean? Like I don't think anybody should have to see movies they don't care about, but I get very frustrated when I feel like people aren't giving older movies a chance. Yeah. How dare you, Jaden? How dare you? And I don't judge people, but I don't know. Like I was rewatching I like okay, so here's like a thing about me. I was watching I was watching a little bit of an old I really like probably one of my have people seen the original Nosferatu? No. It's the very first adaptation of Dracula. I don't know. I get defensive. I shouldn't. It's I don't know. Yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my like knee jerk. Because it's like I would get into these film school classes. Okay, do you guys want to know like I would get into these film school classes and we'd be talking for a minute about films, and it's like and like I would have film school people tell me legitimately like, oh, I don't like to watch movies. Oh, I've met plenty of prequels. I Jaden, I was old enough to remember when like the prequels came out, and I got bored by them very quickly. Like I'll be honest, if I can throw something out here, and this might be controversial for everybody, I really liked the Star Wars prequels until I saw Spider-Man. Until the Spider-Man movie came out, and I was like, oh no, wait, this is better. This is so much better. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't consider that. Yeah. Attack of the Clones and Spider-Man 1 came out in the same year. And I remember seeing both and realizing that the Spider-Man movie was more fun. Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I get that, Robin. That's not your fault. That's the world we live in's fault. Yeah. Um I'm older than people, so uh Both of you, I think. I think so. I'm used. Yeah. Uh. I mean. Um. Robin, do you have ADHD? Not to ask you. Yeah. I figured. Yeah. No, so it's like it's hard. I get it. It's hard. I get it. It's hard, and your brain chemistry it is not helping you with that regard. I mean, yeah. I mean, there are older movies. I don't know. Trying to think of some older movies. I mean, okay, so like, what's so great about like silent film? I don't know. Nobody cares. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'll throw this out. I'll throw this out there. Controversial opinion. Controversial opinion about Star Wars. Um, Rogue One is probably in my top 5 Star Wars movies, and might be past at least one of the original. I think the best of the Disney movies is Rogue One. Hey, Storm. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are you dying? That sucks. Well, some people don't like it. Rogue One is the best. Of the Disney movies. That's the best one. Because they shot that like it was going to be only one movie. And I haven't seen Andorra, but I'm told that's the best series. I mean, I'm trying to think of like older movies that you might like. I don't know. F for Fake. Um, Stupid. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I so Yeah, I should. I like Tony Gilroy so much as a director. He directed a very good movie called Michael Crichton. Um, Crichton that I love. Uh it just it sucks when the thing you're passionate about is a thing everybody else hates and considers boring. And anytime you bring it up, you're like, ugh, don't talk about that stuff. Don't talk about that boring stuff. Nobody cares. And it's like, okay. That sucks, Stormy. That really sucks. So yeah. Yeah, it sucks. It's you know, I don't need people to like the stuff I like. I really don't. But I need people to not hate it. Like, I remember, like, oh, that sucks. I remember the thing that ultimately made me quit Twitter, and this is going to sound totally arbitrary and petty, but it's the thing that made me so angry I had to quit it. Was when I had to spend when Empire magazine. I know this doesn't matter, but I'm going to talk about it anyways, because I want to. When Empire magazine it was Rotten Tomatoes turned Citizen Kane from 100% to a 99%, and people were like, "Yeah, it deserves it. It's not a good movie. It's boring." And I'm like, and I was just like, I was tearing my hair out with these people. I was tearing my hair out with these people of like, I had to see that for not weeks, like days, people talking about this, of like, people going like, ugh, I hated it. And I'm like, why do people even watch it? It's a movie people won't know. Or you do, maybe. I don't know. It's called Citizen Kane. And if you know about film history, you know that Citizen Kane is an incredibly important movie. It's a very... in the development of film as a medium, it's a lot of like techniques in film. Yeah, that's okay, Jada. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, so very brief explanation of what Citizen Kane is. Citizen Kane is the debut movie of one of my favorite directors of all time, Orson Welles. Is an ad on right now? Orson Welles. It is about Charles Foster Kane. It is the life story of Charles Foster Kane, who is a fictional newspaper mogul, but it's really it's really a biopic about a real life guy named William Randolph Hearst. Oh, okay. My thing said it's tell me when the ad comes on so I don't have to talk through it. It's about a real guy named William Randolph Hearst. Now, William Randolph Hearst is one of the most influential men, and was an American. Owned a bunch of newspapers. Is his big thing. He owned a ton of newspapers, and there's a lot of things about him that goes into that. And he was a very influential, and the Hearst Company actually still exists today, mostly like newspaper comics. And he's very important to like the modern media landscape. Yeah. And it's in my opinion, a very good movie and tells a tragic story about a man so lonely and desperate for affection, but is so afraid to like lose it. Feels like so. Charles Foster Kane. The Charles Foster Kane story is his parent. He grew up poor, but they discovered oil on his land, and thus he grew up away from his parents as a rich man, but with really no connection. And so throughout his whole life, he is somebody who is so desperately like searching for love and affection, and he does it. And he tries to run for president. He tries to like have a family, but the thing is, he can never find it. He can never find it because he's so scared of losing it that he pushes people. He's so scared of losing it that he has kind of a controlling he becomes like this kind of controlling monster. And in the end of the movie, Charles Foster Kane, dies rich but bitter, alone, and angry. And it's this kind of like sad, brilliant character piece about a lonely man and like how like wealth is this ultimately very hollow pursuit in America, and it's about the people. Anyways, it's a great movie. And the movie is so like powerful, but on a technical side, it's a very important movie. It's an incredibly important movie, and any film professor worth their salt will explain to you why it's an important movie and why it should be studied. And one of the things about it is it's a very... Oh, that's such bullshit. One of the things about it is it's so important for cinematography, and this might be even difficult to understand why it's so important for cinematography, because when you see it, you'll go like, oh, this is just a normal shot movie. You don't understand how important that is, how important it is. They didn't shoot movies like that. They didn't shoot movies like that before Kane came along. The advent of, like, silent... Okay, so, like, the advent of recorded movie sound in movies actually kind of hampered filmmaking for quite a while, because mics were big and heavy and they couldn't really get around. Anyway, so, you know, with Citizen Kane and the advent, and with, like, Orson Welles' like willingness to experiment, particularly like with deep focus cinematography, which is this kind of brilliant cinematography where nothing is out of focus, and there's even a sort of vague surrealistic element to it, and then you combine it with Greg Toland, who is this just master cinematographer who, like, every movie he shot, like, what is it? There's another really great movie he shoots with, it's about returning World War II veterans. It's such a good movie. What is it called? Anyways, it's like, and it's so good, and I get that to a modern day audience it might be kind of boring. It might be kind of boring because it's an old movie, and other movies have taken... Yes, it's a great movie. Other movies have taken the lessons from it and have built on it. And I get that. But what was driving me up a wall for these few days was people were like, it's so boring. Why are people watching it? It's so stupid. And you have to sit there and explain to them, there's a reason for this, man. There's a reason for this. Why this stuff exists. It's like... I've never been angrier in those few days. I've never been angrier in those few days. And it's like, it's just frustrating. Because it's like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just frustrating. It feels like what I want. It feels like, it feels like you constantly have to apologize for things, and I feel sad. Okay. Anyways, Star Wars. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for going on a rant about this. And that's not even Orson Welles' best movie. His best movie is, in my opinion, is either Chimes for Midnight or F for Fake. And it's, I don't know. Yeah. Star Wars. Yeah. Well, it was hard. Spider. Frick off. Nobody cares. Thank you. The original Godzilla is a really cool movie. With your mind powers, Jaden. With your mind powers. Yeah, that was that was an aggravating few days when that happened. I swear, like legitimately, I swear I had a heart attack. I nearly had a heart attack during those few days because I was so frustrated. Um, yeah. How did you like it? How did you like it? I'm hearing mixed things about. Isn't it weird that it's now like a dual franchise? Godzilla and King Kong. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they did. I don't know. So controversial opinion. No, I don't have a controversial opinion. I would argue it's because monkeys are easier to animate than like giant monkeys are easier to animate than like giant lizards because they have a more human face. Oh no! Oh no! Um, who are even in those movies now, like actor wise? So I'll throw this out very controversially. No, this isn't controversial, but I don't know. Is this? I like the Peter Jackson King Kong movie a lot. Yeah, that's always the problem with those. Like, I think if we could, the Planet of the Apes movies, I think realized that I think the Planet of the Apes movies correctly realized that they should that nobody cares about the people and they should just focus on the apes. I don't know. I wouldn't maybe. Well, the Peter Jackson King Kong movie is 3 hours long and is very excessive. But I like that movie because I like is it Naomi Watts is in that. She plays a very fun character in that. It's Jack Black. It's Naomi Watts. Andy Serkis is once again playing a gorilla. I did see a very cute little kid. This was my favorite thing. I saw a cute little kid when I was going to see The Fall Guy, which was a great movie that nobody's going to see. And me simping for it is just not getting me anywhere. when I was going to tickets to see it, I saw this kid, and what must have been his older brother or like an older cousin, and the kid was chatting obsessively to the guy about was chatting obsessively to the guy about like so in the movie the monster that they're fighting is from the video game, and the guy was like, the monster, but he wasn't in the last movie, but he was from the video game. But there was a picture, and he just kept saying the same thing like over and over again to this guy, and he was like, and the guy barely responded. He's like, yeah. So in the movie, and I thought that was very fun. So Star Wars. Yeah. So is Andalorian good? How do you, it's not Andaloria. Now I'm saying it like Mandalorian. Yeah. Yeah. In Star Wars, it was very cute. I want to make clear this was very cute. I found this very cute that this kid was doing this because he was so excited. I really enjoyed that he was that excited. I thought it was really cute how excited he was to see the Godzilla movie. Star Wars has plenty of stars. What are you talking about? Harrison Ford. Actually, this might be hard to believe. But at the moment, when Star Wars released, you know who they advertised? Sure. Okay, guys. Here's like an actual question. Do you know when Star Wars released, who were the biggest actors in the movie? Because you're never gonna guess who one of them was. Which character? I'm gonna throw out that you probably won't believe who one of the advertised actors were. Robin, do you know this? Yes, it was. Yes, Obi-Wan. Yeah. Oh yeah, Alec Guinness. So it was. Yeah, Obi-Wan, aka Alec Guinness, was one of the main guys that they advertised. Yes, it was Alec Guinness. Darth Vader was voiced by James Earl Jones. He was quite a big actor. You're never gonna guess the third guy. I'll give you a hint. Well, Jabba the Hutt wasn't in the first one. Well, he wasn't in the original cut of the first one. It was Grand Moff Tarkin, aka Grand Moff. No, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was not famous. He became famous after this, after Star Wars. Because that's always been the philosophy of Star Wars. Harrison Ford was an up and comer. Grand Moff Tarkin was played by an actor by the name of Peter Cushing, or Peter. Yeah. was played by an actor by the name of Peter Cushing, who was a very famous actor, horror actor. Mostly in horror movies, but he was a very famous actor beforehand. Yeah. Grand Moff Tarkin. Or it turns into Grandma Tarkin. Now, according to the extended universe, yes. Yeah, but he wasn't really famous until Star Wars. Like, Star Wars is what made him famous. Han Solo was a rising star. He had been in American Graffiti, which was George Lucas's previous movie. And he had gotten good notes for that. And but no, yeah. Peter Cushing, by the way, very good friends with Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku. He was other things. He's a very important guy. He was other things, but he played Count Dooku in I can't say that name in the Star Wars. Carrie Fisher, another rising star. Who had yes, because they had to. Oh, they did that terrible CG. Yeah, Count Dookie. They did that terrible CGI. The one thing I hate about Rogue One is that terrible CGI job that they did, where they reanimated his face for a scene. Yes, that was in Rogue One. That was awful. I hate this, like, by the way, I hate this AI garbage that they're doing for, like, no, he was a young guy when he played Luke. Mark Hamill. Age. When he first played Luke. Am I wrong? He was 24, Jaden. He was 24 when he first played Luke. He was 24 years old when he played Luke. He was 30 years old. No, the first movie did not come out in 1997, Jaden. The first movie did not come out in 1997. The first movie came out in the 70s. There was the first movie came out in 1977. Jaden, the first movie came out in the 70s. There were Star Wars re-release. When did The Phantom Menace come out? He was 20. He was 24 when he played Luke. We're not being mad. We're not being mean. It just wasn't right. Yes, you are the same age as Luke Skywalker. God. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Screw the sequel trilogy. It can go screw itself, okay? Every time I hate how it undid everything in the original trilogy. Like, okay, here's a question. Here's a question for everybody. Why did it need to be a direct follow-up to the series? Yeah, exactly. What? Why? Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a problem with, like, them, like, not deciding. Yeah. Like, the problem with Luke dying is that Luke dies for what seems like a comparative group of losers. The First Order sucks as villains. Like, legitimately, the First Order kind of sucks. Or the New Order. What is it? See, this is a... Yes. This is a thing. Kathleen Kennedy makes these decisions? That's who makes them. Hi. Well, like... Here's what I think happened. I think Marvel kind of... Disney got it into their head that they could just leave it up to, like... one person. So, like, I think Disney got in... kind of... Okay. Let's get something established. Kevin Feige is a very good producer. Okay? No, I don't. I don't give a shit about that. I don't fuck about. Sorry. I see. In fact, it's those people that make me uncomfortable a little bit at criticizing some Star Wars stuff, because it's like, I hate that. I hate that garbage. I hate that discussions of this have now been infiltrated by, like, mouth breathing idiots like that who want to who like just want, like, that shit just makes me so mad. I have a general okay. I hate that fandom spaces has been taken over in some way by like mouth breathing idiots who just like want to scream about like how I don't know, maybe I do that too, but I have the good fortune to regret it immediately. Yeah. Yeah. They were wrong. Well, here's the thing: Kathleen Kennedy was involved in the originals. Jaden, Kathleen Kennedy was involved in the originals. The sequels are bad. The sequels are bad because Hollywood because instead of getting somebody new and younger in charge, was she involved in the original? She was involved in Lucasfilm. She was one of the main people. They got an older, they got not like a Hollywood producer who still has like old school mentality, and has an old school mentality of, oh well, you have to, like, okay. Why was Lord and Miller fired? From Solo. Do you guys know who Lord Miller is? It's not actually a Lord. It's two guys. It's Phil Lord and I always get their first names mixed up. It's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Phil Lord and Chris Lord and but they people always call them Lord Miller. The Lord Miller they are a writing directing team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me explain this. Though, because there's a lot of reasons for this. They are a writing directing team. They are responsible for very good movies, like very good movies like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the Lego movies, the 21 Jump Street reboot, and of course, very pertinent to the conversation, after they were fired from Solo, you know what movie they went on to make, Jaden? Can you guess which movie they went on to make? Into the Spider-Verse. They fired the guys who made Into the Spider-Verse. They did that instead of make Solo. Right? So here's the deal. They were fired from Solo because Lord and Miller. Yes. I agree. So the reason they fired Lord and Miller, and this gets at you what the problem is. The reason they fired Lord and Miller is because, as directors, they didn't want to listen to the old school Star Wars producers. Solo was written by Lawrence Kardashian. I'll say it wrong. It's not like the Kardashian. Who was a screenwriter. I forget what he was a screenwriter on. He was a screenwriter on Empire Strikes Back, I believe. and it's like, and the thing is, like, Lord Miller would not like kiss boot and go like, well, yes sir, we'll do exactly what you want to say. So like they got fired for that. And like some people argue back and forth like, well, maybe they were turning in too much of a joke. Guys, Lord and Miller are better directors. Were the right choice for Solo. They were a better choice for Solo. They proved it by immediately going on and making a smash hit movie franchise on their own. They didn't need Star Wars. Arguably, Star Wars needed them. But so like, there's this kind of old school like producer vibe that they have that like, I don't know. But the problem is, they were fired ultimately, seemingly. I don't know exactly why. Nobody will say why, but seemingly they were fired because they didn't like kiss the brass ring of the original people who made Star Wars. And they failed at playing the corporate game that they didn't need to play because they were already good. Because they were already proven hit makers and they should have just been given the opportunity to do stuff. So, and in it of that is you can see what the problem is. Good directors are not, you know. Star Wars got too... I would argue the reason the Star Wars sequels struggle is because Star Wars is too inundated and too obsessed with like corporate like garbage. It's like too inundated and obsessed with like corporate garbage culture of like, well, you have to show respect to this, and they're the superior because over a decade ago they made a hit movie, and yeah, sure, you've made 4 or 5 major hits in a row, but I'm sorry, they're just the person you have. That was my experience, at least in filmmaking. Yeah. That's been my experience. It's a very like, it's a very like senior like. It's a very like like class kind of system of like, well, you have to earn your right to say those things, and well, my friend, this is my friend, so my friend gets to be in charge, and it's like through a modern miracle that like somebody like Tony Gilroy is allowed to do good movies. So, and I would argue that the problem with the Star Wars movies is they're like this. Is that they have this sort of attitude in a lot of ways. It's that they're run very old. They're run like you must do this, you must do that, you must do this. Yes. I could have an answer. I mean, that's a complicated question. It changes. Like, are you asking on like Marvel movies and stuff? On big franchise names, well, usually what Marvel does is they hire like people who make indie movies to make them. Like, okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, like, who do you want to know? Well, usually the directors have had experience in other movies, and Marvel thought they would be a good fit, and they get offered a role. They get offered the job. Like, what's one of your favorites, Jaden? I can give you a pretty good estimate of probably why they got the job. Okay, that's the Russo brothers. My favorites. Civil War. So, okay. No, those are good movies, and I'll explain why. Those are good movies. I have no real objection. Okay, so the Russo brothers they are it's quite funny. Their most notable work beforehand was a movie called You, Me, and Dupree, which was not that great. But okay, so the Russo brothers were TV directors. Now the reason were TV directors, and they directed a significant amount of like pretty good sitcoms. Directed Arrested Development. They directed Arrested Development and a lot of episodes of a show called Community. Now, I suspect the reason they got Community. Oh boy, they directed so many episodes of Community. Let's see, and I'm pretty sure which one did they? And Community is one of those shows that like Kevin Feige clearly likes because there's a lot of Community people in the Marvel movies. So I think they got the director job because he impressed them with like directing Community episodes of Community. Now Jon Favreau, who is probably the guy who is important. Jon Favreau. So usually what people do is like James Gunn directed. Usually what people do is they direct smaller independent movies that are hits on the circuit, and then they get offered a Marvel movie. Like James Gunn directed No, I think they're good. Oh, so here's. I actually don't hate the Russo brothers as directors. I don't. Okay, so this is complicated. I don't think they're particularly good writers. I don't think they're particularly good writers. I think they're, and they make sense as like TV directors. So okay, there's been some criticism. I don't think it's entirely fair all the time, but there is some criticism of the Marvel at times works more like a TV show than like a movie. Does that make sense, Jaden? Yeah. Yes. They don't have any good. They've directed really great episodes of television, and they've directed really great and they've directed they've directed great Marvel movies. But outside of that experience, they're kind of crap. And what drives me crazy about the Russo brothers is they talk mad shit about other directors. And I'm like, here's the thing. Marvel movies are done. Kevin Feige as a producer is actually is very important to the creative process of Marvel, seemingly. And a lot of people compare it to like, say, it's less like directing a movie on your own and more like, say, directing more than a few directors have said it's a more, it's more like TV directing than movie directing, and TV directing is a little bit is different. Being a TV director is a different, is a bit different than being a movie director. Like you are doing things a tiny bit differently, and like writers and producers are more important. And the fact that their best movies are kind of in a movie series that is produced like a television show, means that I think that they did really well in that specific environment, because that's the environment they do well in. It's not that I dislike their Marvel movies, is I dislike their anything after their Marvel movies I find very aggravating. And the fact that they talk so much garbage all the time, it's... I know I went on a rant about how, like, a movie has to be good on its own. I know I did that. I'm a hypocrite. I'm a terrible hypocrite. I'm a terrible hypocrite because... partly why I don't like their movies is because how irritating I find them in interviews. Because every time they have a movie come out, or a TV show come out, they always spend it talking like crap about like other directors, saying how they're the best, saying how, like, oh, people don't care about, like, our tour-driven movies anymore, or people don't want, like, movies, like, with individual voices. They want our homogenized garbage that we produce. And the fact that let's be honest, they're getting a lot of chances because it's like, Endgame was not a good movie because they were, like, the genius auteur visionaries behind it. Endgame was a good movie because it was nearly a decade. It was nearly like two decades of storytelling culminating in one movie. As long as they kept the camera in focus, that movie would have been good. Yeah. No, I like Endgame. Who said I didn't? Again, this is one of those things where it's like, I can criticize things, but I also like them. No, again, Jaden. It's more me being irritated with the directors, more being irritated with the directors after the movie ended. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good movie. I never said it was a bad movie. I'm feeling the same thing you are, Robin. I never said it was a bad movie. See, this is why you shouldn't read interviews with directors, because you think they'll say cool things, and then like they'll say stupid things that irritate you. Don't ever read an interview with a Russo brother, because they're the most with the Russos, because they'll say some See, the thing with the Russos is like my thing with the Russos is it's like every time they have a new project going on, we have to hear some like brain dead quote from them. Like, okay, so here's my problem with the Russos, fundamentally. The Russos talk like they created the Marvel. The Russos talk like they were the reason Marvel movies were successful. And they were part of it for sure. They were part of it for sure. But the way they talk, it's like, yeah, no, we were the successful. We're the reasons those movies were hits. Our genius was the thing that really made the movies good. Our genius, not the work of like half a dozen other film writers and directors that came. Yeah. Not the work of a half a dozen other writers and directors that came before us. No. It's us. We're the reason. We're the reason we made we're the reason those movies were a success. So Hollywood, you should give us millions of dollars to keep making movies. Like, did anybody see their garbage Amazon series that they made? They're not good writers. They're not good writers, but they're not good writers. And like, honestly, they've never made a good thing without heavy producer oversight. That's just my honest opinion about it. Like, they've never made a good thing without heavy producer oversight. They are fundamentally journeyman directors. Like, their best stuff, like, the best stuff they made is TV. The best stuff they made before Marvel was episodes of television. And that's not really a director's medium. And then they made Marvel movies, which have heavy director oversight. So, anyways. Yeah, so, sorry. But if you want to make a movie, and I want to make a movie, you get together funding. Really? What movie do you want to make? Tell me. I'd love to help you with that, Robin, if you want help. Okay. You get together a script deck, you get together a script, pitch deck. You go around, you try and think of who your richest friends were. Your richest friends are richest people that you know. Pitch the movie, hope to get a little funding. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to make a movie. I've been working on a script for a bit. I want to make a movie this summer. Honestly, I want to try and make a short film this summer. So, it's a lot of work. You got to get a ton of things together, even for what I'm trying to do, which is a small independent movie. Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, it would be filming here, so and I would not have the ability to afford to fly anybody down. I'm going to have to rely totally on local talent. So, unfortunately, I would very much appreciate your help on it, but um, I might try and crowdfund it at some point down the line. Okay. Tell me about it. Okay, you can walk. Oh, the movies I've filmed. God, I'm so embarrassed. By the way, I acted earlier. By the way, I really am. I really am very embarrassed by the way I acted earlier. I'm again very sorry. I guess I'm maybe I'm a little tired and burnt out. Yeah. I don't know. Making movies is fun if you get a good team. If you're on a good team when you're doing it. You guys want to hear? You guys want to hear about a film I worked on? Yeah. Well, it's not. What's your favorite movie, Robin? I mean, I would argue. Say it's Citizen Kane to really irritate people. Or okay, here's an opinion. Okay, what's the worst Star Wars movie? Uh, I know what it is. I already know what it is, Jaden. Thor: Love and Thunder. That's your favorite movie. Oh, right. I was like, for a second there, I thought like, because I was like, for a second I was like, that's your favorite movie? That one is your favorite movie? I was like, oh no, wait, well, yeah. I was very shocked there for a minute. Yeah, yeah, it's not a good movie. What, you don't like the Truman Capote Jabba the Hutt? That's not your favorite part. The Jabba the Hutt's cousin. You don't like that part? Yeah. I thought that would be everybody's favorite part. The Jabba the Hutt's cousin who talks like. I can't do it. It's Jabba the Hutt's cousin who talks like. No, I can't. I can't do a Truman. I shouldn't try and do Truman Capote. I thought that would be your favorite. I do declare that that's no. Um, yeah. Okay. I have one that probably nobody has heard about. Well, people have heard about this, but Robin, have you ever heard about? Here's my declaration for the worst Star Wars film, and it's pretty long. When I put it as officially long as a Star Wars movie. Who has heard of this? The Star Wars Holiday Special. Nobody's heard of this one? Nobody's heard of this one? So, yes. Yeah. No. No, that's the emotion that they felt. Okay. Don't say that, Jaden. Don't say that. How's everybody doing? I don't think that. If a movie's too sad, a movie's too sad. The new Avengers. Which one is that? Is that the one with the post-apocalyptic one with the kids? Yes, I have seen that one. It's okay. That's So there was a series of. So this one's been kind of forgotten. This series has been kind of forgotten, but there was a series. There was a series of animated adventure movies that came out a while back. I remember liking them. And that was kind of the end of those movies. bad Doctor Strange animated? Yeah. I think that guy was just joking. I think that's just a joke, Jaden. Did you ever see those original animated ones? That was kind of before the Marvel Universe was a thing. It's weird. It's weird to think this, but at that moment, Marvel was kind of cribbing from DC. Yeah, that's not a bad show. It's weird to think at that moment in time, Marvel was cribbing DC's whole style. I'm trying to get this up to 4 hours. Yeah. Yeah, Robin. I can tell you there's a better one. I can tell you there's a better one. That would be the Iron Man animated series season 2 opening. That one kicks ass. Does anybody remember? Okay, first Iron Man movie comes out, so they commissioned an Iron Man animated series, but they make it a Teen Tony series. What a flippin' this one. This one. If you're curious. Oh no! Oh no! 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 This is just a theme song I really like. Um. This is the one. Annoying. Very annoying. Okay. Very sorry, Robin. Again, I'm very sorry that I made you feel bad. No, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry I reacted. I was frustrated, and I was frustrated, and I shouldn't have been frustrated. That wasn't fair. Ugh, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. No excuses. I'm just sorry. Took me 3 attempts to do the apology right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't think that about it. I know. The thing is, I should never have thought that you were like coming at me for that. I should know you better. You're not that sort of person. For some reason I went to the most negative version of you, and that was shitty of me. That was a shitty thing for me to do and say, and I'm sorry. And that's just, I'm sorry. I have a bad tendency to assume, kind of assume the worst at times of people. So, and I need to stop. That fucks me up in a lot of ways. So I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Amico's on. We're gonna raid a friend, okay? It's 4 hours anyways. It's good to be back. I probably should have left earlier, but whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired. I was going till 4 hours, and stick by for the raid, everybody, and then we can head out, okay?